So after 2 wonderful days, we're down to the decider, the Cup final in Sydney. New Zealand third on the HSBC Sevens World Series table. Australia are 7th. New Zealand going for back-to-back titles. They won in Wellington last week. Head-to-head, 53 wins to New Zealand, only 8 to Australia over the years. They've had 2 ties. One was last night, the 17 all draw. And if you have a look at the teams now, you can see that it's a big, strong New Zealand pack. Ioane in 1, Mickelson in 2, and Lamb in 12. They're a real handful. The coaches, Gordon Titchens. And for Australia, they're going with Jenkins as the captain, Fa'alao and Myers in the pack, Hutchison, Holland and Stannard and Clark in the back. Scott Bowen is the interim head coach. Andy Friend will take over for the long-term campaign. The Australian Sevens women's team, who won the 3-game series against Ireland 3-0. That's what they're playing for. Here is the welcome for New Zealand and Australia. Sydney 2016. Wonderful roar, great support. Plenty of Kiwis in the crowd as well, Carl.
Oh, most definitely. But you couldn't ask for a better final to end this tournament. It's been spectacular. Australia, the home team, have ridden this wave of support. As you'd expect, they've gotten better and better. The more they've played, they've worked their way into this tournament, and they'll have some confidence after yesterday's pool play against New Zealand.
17 all last night in pool play. Australia's win over New Zealand in Tokyo last year in pool play ended a 16-game losing streak. Played in the 2014 London final. New Zealand came from behind to win that one 52-33. The highest aggregate score in a cup final and the second highest aggregate score all time. So we're going to take in the national anthems of both proud rugby nations. Wonderful atmosphere at Allianz Stadium. Will the New Zealanders spoil the party on Aussie soil again? Or can this Australian team throw down the gauntlet and win their first cup final since Tokyo 2012, their first cup final on Australian soil since Brisbane 2002. Look at New Zealand, 1-1 draw, 1-1. Sonny Bill Williams looking more and more like a sevens player. What a wonderful moment for the referee from South Africa, Rasta Rasishanga. He deserves his appointment. Sam Myers is ready. Australia had to play extra time earlier. How much petrol is in the tank? It's 10 minutes each way. It's a decider of the inaugural Sydney Sevens, and an early take there for New Zealand. And down the touchline goes Webber. Switch of play now. Back to Akira Ioane, and wide they go. Over to Ben Lamb. He's a big man. He takes on one of the smallest guys on the paddock. Certainly the youngest in Hutchison. Clark goes in. The counter ruck was not effective, and so here's New Zealand probing. A good offload up towards the 22. They go. Webber putting on the footwork. In the fen. Webber taken by Holland from behind, but a terrific start, a confident start by New Zealand. And Ioane releases, goes to ground. Can Australia get their hands on the pill? It's been stolen by the captain, Ed Jenkins. A captain's knock, and now they get the penalty.
Geez, that's some great work. Desperate defence from Ed Jenkins. New Zealand looked likely to open the scoring in this final. Dominated possession with physical. Rieko Ioane takes it in, but look at Ed Jenkins over the ball. Nice and strong. Perfect technique.
But that's the sort of threat that the New Zealanders pose with their big men, Akira Ioane in particular, and Ben Lamb on the flank. And Ed Jenkins, who's had a wonderful couple of days in front of his home crowd. Look at that support.
Wait, time's off.
James Stannard, a couple of tries over the weekend. Now the leading point scorer for Australia in sevens, and a good line-out win. Out it goes to Holland, who's been the playmaker. He's had a wonderful tournament. Cameron Clark feeds it out now to Hutchison, and he'll cut back infield, and good tackle there from Ioane, and stolen from the young man. So Australia cannot afford to hand turnovers like that to New Zealand, because they will make you pay. And now it's Ioane, inside ball, it was forward. Oh, a let off there for Australia. Just overrunning the ball on that occasion was Kurt Baker.
But you're right, Greg, the threat of the big men on the edge for New Zealand. Akira Ioane probed and unfortunately gave that inside pass a little bit forward. It's the right call. Kurt Baker was the recipient, but desperate defence again from the Aussies. Hutchinson goes into the setup, goes in a little bit high. Two-man tackle, Ben Lamb over the top, so powerful.
Down, please. Okay, crouch.
Stannard with the put in.
No. Fine.
Sonny Bill Williams in the front row. Stannard, switch of play. Cross it goes to Clark inside his own 22. Stepping. Oh, a high shot there. And there's the penalty. Just reckless, really. No real malice intended. Just got it wrong, and now Stannard.
Cameron Clark in the midfield, though, Greg, makes a lot of difference when he has to take nice straight line. Hits the ball. I think that's okay, but Russa Vingate say not so. But Cameron Clark, multiple threats. Great on the outside break, but also on the step.
Stannard throwing into this line-out.
Back.
Looking for Sam Myers and finding him. And down it goes to Stannard. Holland. Inside ball to Cameron Clark. Oh, he's lost his footing. Clark trying to get the fen going. The ankle tap denied him a try. It's there for Stannard now. Fa'alauvau. Myers lays it back. Pick and go there from Fa'alauvau. Myers now. Stannard across. Holland calling Clark on the inside. Clark, they read it pretty well that time, but they haven't read Hutchison. And Hutchison scores for Australia. They're on their feet at Allianz Stadium. That was terrific work from the Australians. Started a long way out, and Hutchison scores his fourth try for the weekend.
We're just showing his mental toughness, Hutchinson. Lewis Holland is the threat. He takes the ball forward. The cut with Cameron Clark has been where they have made a lot of ground. That was the first one, and this is the second one again. Holland on the outside break. Clark with the pop-up there, and Hutchinson, who had the ball ripped away from him just moments earlier, resets and gets the first score in this final. Young man step up.
Yeah, he's a wonderful talent, Henry Hutchison. Such a great finisher. 19 years next week. So it is. Australia leading by 7 points to 0. Andy Friend looked a little nervous there, looking on his first couple of tournaments as the head coach. Fa'alaulau, good win at the kickoff, and that's so important. And now Holland giving it to Hutchison. Not held. Holland. Terrific start by Australia. Now they go across to Jenkins. He might back himself. He has to go to ground. New Zealand go in. It's stolen. Terrific work by New Zealand. And what a contest we've got here. Hutchison has to try and get hold of the big man. Akira Ioane back on the inside. And it's New Zealand going coast to coast. Just when Australia looked like they were going to run in another one, it's a try to New Zealand. Oh, what a final we've got. The Ioane brothers. How many times have they done that on the rugby pitch and on the playing fields in their backyard?
Well, defence wins you tournaments here. Joey Webber takes Captain Ed Jenkins down. Kurt Baker with a turnover. He passes it to Akita, and as soon as this guy gets the ball, it is danger signs. And this kid in jersey number 1 has been outstanding the last couple of weeks, and his brother, the younger brother of that, Rieko Ioane. New Zealand back in it.
And the conversion from right in front from Baker. We're locked up 1 try apiece. 7-all in the final. Yes, it's a try to New Zealand. They can score them from anywhere. And the Ioane brothers, what a threat they have been. Not only over the last 2 days here in Sydney, but also last week in their home tournament in Wellington. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Plenty of hang time there, but they've overcooked it. Out on the full.
Here Australia are quite inventive with their tap kicks, so it'll be interesting to see what they conjure up here. Hutchinson, he's the one, he's the threat, he's the speed on the outside. Holland, good move having him ball in hand. He has been a threat every time he's touched the ball. Australia dominating possession at the moment.
I think it's been good for Quade Cooper to be sidelined watching the play of Lewis Holland, because that's where Quade Cooper has to get to if he wants to be an Olympian. Now it goes to Clark, and he gives it to Fa'alaulau, and the footwork from Fa'alaulau. Just evading 1 or 2 tackles. There's another high one, and this might be in the bin because it's a second high one. No malice, it's just reckless. And Sonny Bill Williams back on his old stamping ground, but as the enemy in this one, and you can hear the Aussie fans giving him a send-off.
Yeah, well, a bit lazy more than anything. Tim Mickelson.
No malice, but any tackle over the shoulder is illegal.
Well, they've been consistent. That's all you want, and that's all you can ask for as a player, Greg. So that's fair enough.
Stannard finds Foley, who's out there. Now it's Lewis Holland, happy to take it to the line and then give it to Clark. Bit of footwork from Cameron Clark. Gets it out to Hutchison. Clark with the clean out. Holland there at scrum half. Advantage being played. Across it goes to Clark. Throws the dummy, Cameron Clark. Releases. But they managed to rein him in.
Leave it there. Leave it there. On the 5.
He was playing advantage.
Geez, that's a very long advantage played.
Swipe. Offside, number 2, I think. Offside.
Very tough place to defend here for New Zealand. 1 man down, we'll have to remember. No need to rush for Australia. Just have to be composed. They have to take their opportunities. They must score while they've got the numerical advantage.
Time off, please. No, no. You've got to take the penalty now. Let's go. Time back on.
The referee very firm in his directions to Stannard. And there's an overlap. They have to give it. They go wide. Hutchison has got a double. Man over. And Henry Hutchison, 5 tries for the weekend. What a finisher.
When you've got a guy such as Lewis Holland on the ball, you have to hold as a defence. He's so good. Stannard there. Gives the pass, Holland. You see there, Tim Mickelson cannot slide. That's what creates the overlap. A nice miss pass. Great manipulation by Australia. Great composure. And they get the job done. The young fella gets a double.
You reckon he'll enjoy his 19th birthday next week?
I'm pretty sure he will be the man.
I think his teammates might be buying him refreshments if he keeps that sort of finishing form going. And there is the conversion missing. Sonny Bill Williams back from the naughty chair, the sin bin, and there is time for the kickoff for Australia. And
Thank you. Thank you.
it's now 12 points to 7 after that try to Australia. Half-time hooter sound. Stannard goes to required 10 and Sonny Bill Williams. Down it goes, and they're going to try their luck. Down the short side! Baker! Stannard coming across, they're lining up on the inside. Baker doesn't need anybody. Oh, what a simple try. Kurt Baker, look at the smiles. Shocking defence on the short side by Australia. What have we got in store in the second half? If the first half is anything to go by, we're locked up at 12-all in the decider.
Well, a great take by Sonny Williams. Firstly, he passes it off to Kurt Baker, who looked up. There was no one in front of him. A little bit of a hole. Stannard's coming across as a sweeper. Ed Jenkins can't make it. Everybody just stood off him.
And he loves it. And now, after that run, he has to try and convert to give New Zealand the lead at half-time. From out wide, it's not a bad attempt. Just out to the right in the end. So probably a fair reflection of the first half, Carl. It is 2 tries apiece, and in the final, it's 12-all, New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, well, this final just taking it to new heights. The Australian team, they've played some good rugby sevens. I like the way they use Holland in the middle. Stannard as well. Henry Spade having a lot to say. Ed Jenkins amongst it as well. But they're controlling it. They're going to have to keep at that level for another 10 minutes to have any chance against this physical New Zealand team. Just have a look at those stats, Greg. Australia have had 3 times as much passes completed, 27, so they have just dominated the ball at the moment. New Zealand having to make a lot more tackles as well. So in the wash-up, they will at some stage take its toll, but it's whether Australia can stick with it, keep their high tempo, still keep testing this New Zealand defence, try and stretch them side to side to side, make them chase them, and then attack with Cameron Clark and Lewis Holland.
Sounds easy when you say it like that, but they are up against one of the best in the business, New Zealand, and the master coach, Sir Gordon Titchens. Confoley received a few running repairs to that head wound at half-time.
One determining factor we haven't spoken about, and that's the bench of both teams. New Zealand have a stacked one. They're definitely going to have to employ that. Gillies Haka, Dylan Collier, Artie Savia still have to be introduced to this game. I'm sure they will be at some stage. Technically, both coaches have to get it right.
Ed Jenkins missed the last couple of tournaments. His wife gave birth a couple of weeks ago, so he's looking to be able to finally celebrate that. Will it be a double celebration? So Hutchison looks up, plenty in front of him. Now it's Clark who tries to get on the outside of Mickelson, and he does that. Waits for the support, and now Confoley can't control it.
Well, he has to be more aware there, Confoley. Cameron Clark did all the hard work, got on the outside, made the break from Tim Mickelson. Confoley just probably looking for Clark to set it up. Disappointing into an attack.
Henry Spade, the 5-test Wallaby on the bench. His second sevens tournament, going through a bit of a tough learning curve. It is probably evidence that you just can't do it overnight. Go from 15s to this level of sevens. And we all know how much quality he has. So Baker flicks it out the back. Ioane. Hutchison. You have to go low on Ioane. Rieko Ioane. But foot on the touchline. So he'll have to come all the way back to the line out.
Oh, two of the brightest stars from New Zealand. Oh, there it is there. Good call. Hutchinson, Rieko Ioane. A lot of years in front of them to be stars. But geez, we're going to see that matchup, I'm sure, from years to come.
Change coming up for New Zealand. So 4 is on there. Adi Savia, what a sub to make. He comes on for Sonny Bill Williams. We might see a little more of Sonny Bill later in the game. Remember, you can have 5 subs. And 1 there. The other goes to Stannard. Across to Holland. And Clark. Turning it back on the inside to Jeladev. Such a strong runner and probably the fastest in the Australian team. So Stannard, the distributor. Now Confoley looking to work down the short side. And Holland gives it now to Jeladev. He lays it back. Holland, nobody in front of him, but then the sweeper came across and now the dummy. And the wide ball out now to Slam and Sam Myers! Myers! Atmosphere is electric at Allianz Stadium.
But what about the pass? From Lewis Holland, I think it was. He's the one that takes the ball up initially. Look at him, goes across the field. Look at that right there. There's the money ball, 30 metres on the fly to Sammy Myers. It's Myers 5 metres out. He knows he's over. Australia aren't going to go away, and they take the lead.
Sonny Bill, all he can do is look on. And Stannard, still a long way to go in this one. But all these kicks are important. It's a wide one, and it's not a bad attempt, but out to the right in the end. So the scoreline, 17 points to 12. Yeah, they've been good supporters over the weekend, not just that bunch there, but everyone.
Well, this is the point in the game where now it comes down to heart. 20-minute final, your 6th game. Who wants it the most?
Jenkins allows the New Zealander to get back to the ground before affecting the tackle, so no problem with that. And then just taking his eyes off the ball there was Dylan Collier. Mickelson, they'll rely on his leadership and all of this great skill. Mickelson, he's going to burn everybody. Just as I said it, they needed a captain's knock. He's going to run it around and put it down. Oh, what a final! New Zealand relying on their big man, their fast man out wide. Mickelson, 166th try in his career. 17 all. Kick to come. 1 missed tackle, and it's shut the gate.
What I like about Tim Mickelson, the armband, the captain's armband really does suit him. It sits well with him. He doesn't take it with the pressure that some players do. It elevates his play to another level. And again, he has produced when New Zealand need him the most.
Kurt Baker. Crowd tried to put him off. And it's away. So we're still locked up here. 17 all. We thought last week in Wellington, when New Zealand had a cracker of a final coming from behind to beat South Africa, that things really couldn't get much better. But everybody has lifted this week yet again.
Well, they gave us a little entree in pool play where they couldn't be separated with a draw, so I'm not surprised.
And that was the scoreline, 17 all. That's what it is at the moment. Ed Jenkins can't control it. Lost forward by Australia. Good pressure.
And now these little instances in the game are highlighted because it is so tense. We're coming down to the championship rounds. The kickoff, all important. New Zealand getting up. Dylan Collier slapping it back. Ed Jenkins can't take it, just off the tip of his fingers. New Zealand, Ben Lamb, they'll park him up in midfield. Rico Ioane, the speed, the threat on the outside.
Yeah, time's off.
My play, give it to big number 12 and let him just go north to south.
Just get a medic on
Big
there,
Ben,
Amy, run a medic on
Big
there,
Ben
please.
Lamb. So Foley coming to the blood bin. Alan Fa'alauval heading back out there. He's a handy player to have in the team. Fa'alauval can play at first receiver. Doesn't mind going in and playing that hooker role as well.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's aggressive too, Greg. That's what I like about Fa'alauval. He won't take a backward step. Don't worry about that.
Time back on.
From Endeavour Hills in Melbourne. No backward step from there.
Set.
So Stannard needs to put pressure on Baker. Baker needs, as Carl Tanana said, to get it to midfield. And now Ben Lamb stepping. Oh, he got thrown past one. And now here's the support coming across. Where
Murray, was that lost forward? I'm going scrum here.
lost forward.
What a chop tackle from Cameron Clark. Regan Ware on the outside. I thought he was in. Cameron Clark. That's how you tackle rugby, people. Round the hips, 2 legs. You can't run.
But you were right, it was Ben Lamb who caused
Okay,
the
bring him on.
initial problems in midfield.
Time's off.
What do you do if you're an Australian? To give it wide, to use the kick, to just get it downtown, release the pressure. Multiple options here. For me, Lewis Holland, let him thread on the outside. Cameron Clark has been good when he's been given space as well with the step.
Jeladev is fast out wide. He'll run 100. And now it goes across. Good pick up from Clark, who straightens, doesn't mind taking into contact and gives it to Jeladev. The race is on. The speedster, Jeladev. Baker giving chase. Jeladev, he's going to go all the way. He'll run it around. What a try. What a combination. Clark and then Jeladev, the finisher.
Well, you spoke about the threat, 100 metres, you said. Probably 98 to be fair. But the end result is what Australia wanted. 5 points, probably 7. A dusty pass from Holland. But look at that. Cameron Clark, he saved his team with his defence on that occasion. Goes through 2 defenders at Jeladev. Look at the blade hands on the man. Gets the arms pumping, the legs are pumping. And now the heart is pumping as well. Puts it under the horns. Australia go ahead by 7.
There's the 2 from the boot of Stannard. The Cup final, Sydney 2016. What a match, and we've got more to come. Jeladev,
Wait, time's off, please.
one of the most important tries he scored in recent times. He scored 5 in Wellington last week.
Yeah, he's going off on the side there.
Could this be the fairy tale finish to an outstanding weekend? Australia in control. Need to be accurate from this kickoff.
And Stannard's kickoffs have been much better. It's falling back in the hands of Australia. There's the counter ruck coming in from New Zealand. Australia need to fight for it. Advantage is being played, so good work by New Zealand. And it goes back. No, not. It went backwards, and now Ben Lamb. Ben Lamb taking on Jeladev. Henry Spate coming across. Lamb stepping back on the inside. He's lost it. And Henry Spate is into touch. They'll play the knock on first of all, I'd say. Whoa!
Oh, Henry Spate's hammy does not look good, but defensively so strong. He had the angle. Ben Lamb steps off his left foot, and just the big palm of the number 11 for Australia knocks it out.
Time's off. Let's go.
So it's going to be a scrum put in for Australia. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Bit of turf being chopped up here on the new surface at Allianz Stadium as well. Con Foley has had a few knocks on that nose now. He won't mind though. So Stannard to Holland. Now Tom Kingston is out there. Fresh legs. Penalty. Gee, that's happened a lot. And now Ioane, they're not back to 10. They've got numbers! And it's going to be Ben. No, it's not. It's Rico Ioane that's going to run it in. And it all came from that taking it into contact and not controlling the situation.
Ardie Savia, that's what he's been put onto the field for. That's his bread and butter, the loose forward. See him here, Akita Ioane down the bottom, Ardie Savia over the top. 1, 2, 3 players on the deck for Australia. He was on his feet, Ardie Savia. They get it wide to Gillies Haka. Rieko Ioane takes the ball on his hip and he gets his double.
The kick is away, and so Australia 24, New Zealand 22. New Zealand will kick off.
Okay, let's go.
Can they win this kickoff, or will it be Australia controlling the pill and counting down the clock? Bit of hang time there, and Kingston. Ioane goes in there. This time it goes back to a good pickup from Stannard. Now it's Spate that goes in, needs to get to the ground. No, time is up. All they had to do was get to the ground and get the ball back.
That was a quick call on the maul though, I have to say. Good recognition
Time's off.
by the New Zealand players. First it was Akita Ioane. So support players came in for Australia. As soon as they did, it's called a maul. And then Ardie Savia again making his presence felt. One play, time is up. Here we go.
Well, they did it last week.
Come on.
New Zealand coming from behind to steal it from South Africa. We know they are capable of doing it. How much petrol is left in the tank? Australia just making those frustrating mistakes late in the game around the breakdown.
Wait.
If you're going to go into contact, you've got to get at least one knee on the ground so they can't hold you up. And now, who's got the magic? Savia. Australia go in. Stannard over the ball. Oh, it's a penalty against Australia. New Zealand can have a shot from right in front, probably not part of their makeup. Or will they have a crack at scoring the try?
No, they'll have a crack, Greg. They'll go for the 5-pointer.
Taking up space as well at the tackle. That was you.
Ben Lamb patrolling the far side. Akita Ioane coming close to the ball.
So Gillies Haka. So many of these Australians have never tasted victory in a final. One missed tackle and it's all over. Out it goes to Haka, the fleet-footed Haka. Oh, he's away! Fires one right over the far side. And it's Lamb. He's taken. Australia go in trying to steal it. Now it's Ioane. Still there. Baker trying to get on the outside, and now Ioane, they have done it again. They've stolen another cup from their opposition. Congratulations, New Zealand. But I feel for Australia, they gave it everything. It was only some of their inexperienced players that cost them in the end. Oh, look at the celebrations. We're looking at a champion team. They've gone back-to-back in the HSBC Sevens World Series. The big men have delivered. So good intentions. Tom Kingston, a learning curve for him. But it's all smiles for New Zealand. There hasn't been a happy hunting ground, Australian soil. Remember that this was their 8th final on Australian soil. They'd only won 2 prior to this one. But now it's number 3. New Zealand 27, Australia 24. Henry Spate, he's learned a lot this weekend. He knows that the transition isn't going to be easy. Ed Jenkins, James Stannard, the Aussies, they are gutted. So many of them have been around for some time, still looking to taste success in a final. They gave it everything in their home tournament, but they came up empty-handed.
Oh, you got to feel for them, Greg. You really do. They played outstanding rugby for 19 minutes of that final, but New Zealand just showing that they are the comeback kings on the back of Rieko Ioane with a treble in this final. But just a warning shot going forward from this Australian team. They have produced under immense pressure here at home. It is always the hardest place to win your home tournament. The other 15 teams are trying that little bit extra to knock out the home team. But some great work here by this Aussie team. Unfortunately, not their day.
But a courageous effort, as you say. So victory to New Zealand. They've stolen the cup again, and they've spoiled the party. But let's go to Rod Kafer.
Tim Mickelson, what a fantastic game. A real tough nail-biter for everybody here in the crowd. Congratulations on a great win.
Cheers, thank you. You know, we knew it was going to be a pretty tough game after last night, and you know, they got big boys and they're very fit, so we knew we'd have to go the whole 20 if we had any chance of winning.
And you did that in the end, scoring after the bell. It was, I guess, the big players standing up, just the one-off missed tackles that really cost Australia. You took full advantage.
Yeah, you know, they had us on the ropes in the first half. We made similar mistakes, and in the second half, we just really needed the ball. They're a hard team to beat without the ball. They hold it for long periods, and they got dangerous players, so it's good to get the result.
You had a couple of injuries throughout the course of the tournament, but battled on. Must be great to get back-to-back victories like this 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we had Augie, a halfback, broke his arm in the Fijian game, so he's put his body on the line for the last 2 weeks, so we really want to get a result for him.
You did really well, and it was a great final. That Australian team, young side, they're battlers, and they've come out and give you a good run for your money.
Yeah, you know, they're an amazing team. We know what it's like to play in our home tournament last week. You grow that much more in front of your home fans, but this is definitely one of the best tournaments going around now. Great facilities, great crowd, and the boys can't wait to come back next year.
Well done on a great victory.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, it was a captain's knock all weekend by Tim Mickelson. Experience counts, especially in this run-up to the Olympic Games in Rio. 12-all at half-time, 27-24 at full-time. New Zealand stealing it after the bell, but I just can't help but go back to some of those rookie errors by the Australians late in the game. Anyway, they'll learn from that. Let's go back to Rod Kafer.
Thanks, Clarkie. Yes, I'm here with the HSBC Australia's CEO, Tony Cripps, who's going to present the player of the tournament to Akira Ioane. Congratulations to Akira.
Yeah, pretty well deserved. I don't think anyone will argue with that. The player of the final, the HSBC player of the final. I think you tend to give it to a player from the winning team as long as he deserves it. I think if it was the other way around, there would have been a good battle between a few Aussies for player of the final. But Akira Ioane, he's going to play a bit of 15s and 7s. All right, well, it's time for our presentation now. New Zealand, the victors. Let's go to the presentation dais. And our MC for this is Matt de Groot.
Remarkably fitting end to this remarkable competition, which has seen 45 matches across the past 2 days, more than 200 tries, one of the best parties this city has ever seen, culminating with New Zealand winning the HSBC Sevens tournament here in Sydney. Please join me in welcoming our official party. John Coolican, the President, Australian Rugby Union. Tony Cripps, Chief Executive Officer, HSBC Bank Australia. Stuart Ayres, the New South Wales Minister for Trade, Tourism and Major Events and the Minister for Sport. And Glenn Ella, a proud Ewan man from Sydney's La Perouse and a former Wallaby great. Throughout the tournament, we've been treated to some individual brilliance from the best Sevens players from around the world. I'd like to call on Tony Cripps to announce the 2016 HSBC Sydney Sevens Player of the Tournament.
The HSBC Sydney Sevens Player of the Tournament is Rieko Ioane.
Well, the cup final, it was everything we hoped it would be, bar perhaps for the locals the result, but it was an amazing game. It has seen New Zealand defeat Australia 27 points to 24 with a try well after the siren. I'd like to welcome to the stage to collect their winners' mugs, New Zealand.
Yes, well, congratulations to New Zealand. Gee, they'll be relieved. They had to come back to snatch the 17-all draw with Australia last night. They had that battle with Fiji, a cracker of a semi-final, getting home 14 points to 12, and then they had to score after the bell again. It doesn't come easy, does it? But this team knows how to do it. So Akira Ioane named the HSBC player of the final, and his brother Rico Ioane, player of the tournament.
Tim Mickelson, to receive a commemorative gift from Glenella.
Gee, he's broken some Australian hearts over the years, Tim Mickelson. I'm not talking about the people in the stand, I'm talking about the players in the opposition.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank Aussie for awesome 2 games over the weekend. You guys played awesome, and this is an awesome tournament, and it'll just grow from year to year. So, cheers, guys. To the fans, all the New Zealanders, thanks for coming out and supporting us. And to our boys, another awesome effort, eh? We said it would take 20 minutes to win, and we just kept on going, and we got the victory in the end. So, cheers, thanks, boys, and everyone have a good night. Thank you. Can I take the trophy over there? Yeah, 2
Okay, this is the moment. I'd now like to ask Stuart Ayres to present to Tim Mickelson the Sevens Cup, the 2016 HSBC Sydney Sevens Cup, to our winners, New Zealand.
He won't raise it above his head until he goes down and catches up with his team, because this is a special moment. This is why they play the game.
It has been an outstanding tournament. Please put your hands together for not just Tim, but our 2016 HSBC Sydney Sevens champions, New Zealand.
New Zealand, Sydney champions 2016. Congratulations to Tim Mickelson, Sir Gordon Titchens, and the rest of the squad. Gutsy stuff. They did it the hard way as well, but they're used to that. Sonny Bill Williams, gee, 2 World Cups in 15s, NRL Grand Final victories, boxing, and of course now he's got 2 titles already. He probably thinks his sevens is a pretty easy game.
Well, it's great to see the likes of Sonny Bill Williams, Henry Spate for Australia, guys who have achieved at the highest level, got their caps. Augustine Pulley, you can see there with the armband, broken his arm. There's a guy in all black in waiting, Akira Ioane. But one thing you can't train is character, and that's what this New Zealand team has grown and brought to the last 2 tournaments as they get the selfie done.
Well, a roar went up as well from the Kiwi fans in the crowd in our 2011 census in Australia. Sydney was shown to have 4.39 million residents, 1.5 million of which were born overseas. And I reckon the majority live at Bondi, and they're from New Zealand.
Just down the road too, aren't they, Greg? Bondi just around the corner from this outstanding venue. It has been brilliant all weekend long. The weather has been outstanding. The home team has stood up and been proud, but in the end, New Zealand and Australia add another chapter to this trans-Tasman rivalry.
And Carl, I don't want you to compare era by era, but this New Zealand team, just how good is it and how good will it be in the lead up to Rio?
Well, that's the thing that's so exciting for me, Greg. This team's only been together for 2 weeks. Imagine what it's going to be like leading up to Rio when it's got a sustained period, maybe 2 months before they go over to the Rio Olympics. They could be anything. They could probably improve another 20%, which is scary for other teams on the circuit.
And the Australian team, your thoughts?
Oh, another thing, I was very impressed with them. I think they had a lot of players not there in Wellington last weekend, but Ed Jenkins came in and made a difference. Cameron Cameron Clark was outstanding. I think Lewis Holland was brilliant all weekend long. And then this young kid on the wing scored a couple of tries. Henry Hutchinson. So there are some very, very exciting times ahead for Australia, as well as some 15-a-side guys still to come back in the fold.
Yeah, when will Quade Cooper make his debut? Nick Maloof still on the injured list. Palmer Foe had a shoulder reconstruction.
Well, they've done it again. The Kiwis have broken Australian hearts, but make no mistake, the Aussies did very, very well. Be back to Sydney in just a